The courtroom that day did not feel like a place of order. It felt like chaos barely being held together. From the very first minute, people were talking over each other. Nobody was listening. Everybody wanted to speak, but nobody wanted to answer questions. Every time the judge opened her mouth, someone else jumped in. And the judge, you could already tell, was not in the mood. Every 2 seconds it was, stop. Enough. One at a time. Do not interrupt. At one point, someone blurts out, I'm asking your witness. Before that sentence even finishes, another person jumps in. The judge leans forward, looks around the courtroom, and you can almost feel her thinking. This is going to be a long day. Now, let's slow this down, because this case was not about wigs. It was about honesty, money, responsibility, and business ethics. The main players. On one side, we have Fatoumata Diallo. She's a wig seller. A small business owner. Someone who depends on online orders, shipments, trust, and payments to survive. When she doesn't get paid, it's not just an inconvenience, it shuts her business down. On the other side, we have Kenya Taylor. A salon owner. Someone who claims to be an entrepreneur. Someone who works with hair, beauty, lashes, nails, the whole package. Someone who should understand exactly how business works. And yet, here they are, standing in court. The accusation. Fatoumata's accusation is very simple. She says, Kenya ordered 5 wigs. Kenya had those wigs shipped directly to her house. Kenya received those wigs. And then Kenya never paid. No money. No resolution. No wigs returned. Just silence. Kenya, of course, denies this completely. She says Fatoumata was trying to scam her. She says the situation was misunderstood. She says things were blown out of proportion. But the judge doesn't start with wigs. She starts with Kenya's life. Because context matters. The repossessed car. The judge looks at Kenya and asks about her car. Simple question. Kenya admits her car was repossessed. Judge asks, when did that happen? Recently. 3 or 4 months ago. Kenya hesitates, and then admits she couldn't make the payments. The judge doesn't soften it. She doesn't comfort her. She states a fact. Cars don't get repossessed for no reason. If it was taken, it's because payments weren't made. That moment matters. Because now the judge is building a picture. The apartment story. Next question, where were you living at the time? Kenya explains she was in a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate. Judge asks, are you still living there? Kenya says no. Judge, what happened to the apartment? Kenya says she moved out, but the roommate moved with her. That already sounds strange. Then the judge asks, when did you move out? Kenya answers, November 2021. The judge pauses. Because that date lines up perfectly with when the wig situation started. Coincidence? Maybe. But judges don't ignore timing. Then it gets worse. It turns out the lease was actually in Kenya's name. Even though she moved out, she renewed the lease so the roommate could stay. The judge's tone changes. She corrects Kenya sharply when she says, instead of, yes. The patience is slipping. The new house and the girlfriend. Now Kenya says she lives in Conyers, in a house. She says she pays all the bills. The judge asks about her girlfriend. What does your girlfriend do? Kenya proudly lists, lashes. Hair. Nails. Everything. Calls her an entrepreneur. Judge asks, does she have a website? Kenya says, yeah. I think so. Judge, what's the name of it? Kenya doesn't know. Not even close. The judge just stares. No words. Just silence. That silence speaks louder than anything else. Back to the Wigs. Now the judge turns to Fatoumata. Did you ever actually speak to Kenya about these 5 wigs? Fatoumata says yes. Judge asks about phones. Fatoumata says she doesn't have a phone right now. Judge, did you ever have one? Yes. Judge, what happened to it? Fatoumata admits she broke it. Judge, how? Fatoumata says she got extremely angry, and threw it. Judge, were you angry at someone? Fatoumata says yes. The courtroom shifts. Now the judge asks about the girlfriend's phone. Fatoumata explains that the girlfriend gave her a phone, and she bought her another one in return. But that phone had someone else's information on it. Judge asks, who is Joyce? Fatoumata, I don't know Joyce. Judge responds, I don't know Joyce either. And tells her to sit down. The judge's lecture. Now the judge turns fully toward Kenya. And this is where the tone changes completely. She says, if you want to be in business, you have to pay for what you order. She explains how outrageous it is that 5 wigs were shipped. 5 wigs were received. And now the seller has no wigs. No profit. No payment. She calls out the excuses one by one. Missing phones. Missing information. Unidentified clients. Clients who suddenly blocked her. Then she says something brutal. If people block you after working with you for a year, that usually means you're doing a bad job. Kenya jumps in quickly. She says she blocked them because they were ruining her business. The judge listens, but she doesn't buy it. The money. Now the amount comes out. $2,196. Fatoumata explains she couldn't operate her business for a month and a half because of this. The judge says she can't confirm lost business income, but she can order payment for the wigs that were shipped and never paid for. Then come the court fees. Fatoumata mentions a private investigator. Judge asks, how much? Fatoumata hands over random things. Texts. Numbers. Messages. Judge keeps stopping her, I don't want messages. I want invoices. Finally, it's clear, $250 for skip tracing. $150 for service. Total, $400. Judge asks, was Kenya served? Yes. The final judgment. The judge adds everything up. Then she delivers the ruling. $2,196 judgment for the plaintiff. No debate. No delay. No drama. Case closed. Court adjourned. After the ruling. Even after losing, Kenya keeps talking. She insists she didn't steal anything. She says the wigs were just sent to her house. She compares it to a bad haircut and asking for a refund. She says Fatoumata ruined her reputation. Caused drama. Wasn't honest. But the judge shuts it down completely. She makes one thing crystal clear. There is no question that Fatoumata sold those wigs. A 25% markup is normal. Kenya likely added her own markup too. That's business. The real problem was chargebacks. Reversing payments. Leaving the seller with absolutely nothing. The judge explains how dangerous this is for small business owners, especially online sellers. Everything happens quietly, behind the scenes, and hardworking people get hurt without warning. And then she ends with a line that hits hard. Too bad people don't just do the right thing. If they did, we wouldn't even need courts. And just like that, another business ruined. Another lesson learned. Another courtroom drama over.